Hello everybody, it's Friday night and it is time for the Weekender once more. We have another packed show this week as John gets excited about the upcoming commemoration of the 80th anniversary of D-Day and checks out some of the new Battlefront toys to go with. Ben goes all dwarfish again on us, which isn't like him. I take a dip into the Punic Wars, and Lloyd is also on the show. On top of all of that, we also have a prize. A Flames of War Hit the Beach starter set from store.ontabletop.com. If you want to be in with a chance to win, pop a comment below this video here on YouTube's and be a subscriber to the channel as well. If you can do the whole social media nonsense, do that or not. I'm not your father. Otherwise, sit back and relax because your weekend starts here. Hello everybody and welcome to the Weekender. I'm joined this week by John, Ben, and Brother Lloyd. Hello.
Hola.
Hello.
To take you through another week's worth of gaming news because we're good like that. Some people say we're not, but we are. Have you all been? You've been having a whale of a time?
I've been off. It's been great, but I'm back now for this. Oh, God. No, I love it. There we go. So.
I'm like a cannibal. I've been having a ball.
I've been painting bloody Rome ends.
See how he qualified that.
You know, you're just making it harder on yourself, Lloyd.
Yeah.
If you just give in, did it for me.
What
then everybody would just move on with their lives.
Everybody's been moaning at me, paint Rome ends. So it's been done.
Well, we'll touch on that later, I guess. So, yes.
Well, not on this show. You'll have to.
Well, no, but we will talk about things
Sunday.
Tangentially related to it.
That's it. Yes. Come and see us twice in 1 week. Ooh, yeah.
We are very, very good in that respect. Right.
You get double the dancing.
Yeah, you can come see us at UKGE as well, because it's coming up. I'm wearing my UKGE tops.
Yep. If you want a selfie with me, then Lloyd will take the picture for you.
I will not oblige you, twats.
Oh, good times. Good times. Right. Before we kick into the most important part of the show, obviously you've just mentioned UKG. We are 2 weeks away. You said in the high question voice. I don't want it to be 2 weeks away. I want it to be a couple of months away, so I've got more of a run up at it. However, we are 2 weeks away. So if you do get the chance to visit us in Brum, then yeah, feel free, come by, buy me a pint, buy me lots of pints. I need hydration. It's important to stay hydrated in that sweat box of a fish tank I'm in. Well, just throw it out there.
Tiny electrical fans.
Or a boy with a fan. Yeah.
Any of that works.
I have to pay for that.
Yeah. PMA grapes as well. Yeah, if you are coming along, we've talked about it previous weeks anyway, but there's a ton of stuff, some of which is already sold out on as well, as far as gaming and seminars and bits and pieces go. But even once the stuff that is ticketed is sold, there's still tons and tons and tons of stuff to have a look at, including Parabellum are running a big tournament as well for Conquest, which I'm fascinated to see because the winner of that will be in for a shot at their Masters, which is going to be held in Greece later on this year.
They get to go and play games on the beach. That's amazing.
Yeah. That would kill me stone dead.
Sand gets everywhere.
I would throw every game just to make sure I didn't have to go anywhere near a hot beach. I could have won this, could have, didn't, chose not to. It was deliberate.
What you need to do if you do end up there though is you need to go and play your games, but then the beach that you're playing on, get that sand and use it as the basing material. As long as you can get it back to the airport, you'll be fine. So yeah, it'd be amazing.
Just fill your pockets.
Like, wow, where'd that sand come from? The beach where I was playing a tournament, man. So,
Pocket sand. It's the way to do it.
Do you know Flames of War is doing a tournament at the Australian Armour Museum as well?
Ooh, very cool.
They just started advertising it and they had a really cool trailer up for it. So
Ooh.
I don't have any passports, so I can't go. So it's now my bucket list museum to go there. But I mean, to go play Flames of War would be an excellent excuse, I think.
Surrounded by
What?
vehicles.
Do you mean you don't have passports? Weren't you in France for like D-Day stuff once?
Yeah, in 2014, but my passport's expired, and I haven't applied for an Irish one yet. So I currently have no passports.
He was a man of no nation.
Anywhere.
Get there eventually.
Yeah.
Is the Australian? I'm assuming the Australian Tank Museum is the one that still has the German A7.
No, they don't own that one. That's owned by the Australian government.
Oh. It's not the Tank Museum. That's disappointing.
The Oz Armour Museum is a private museum, but they have like the biggest collection of stuff. Like I think they rival Bovington now with the amount of stuff they have. And most of it is running. So, I mean, they have a running Panther down there, and they're working on a Tiger and 2 Stugs. So,
there you go,
a lot of stuff.
If you're looking for a weekend excursion, nip down to Australia. Go
down
visit
to
the Tank Museum.
Who's having the beach tournament?
Parabellum.
For Conquest.
Where's that out in Greece?
Yes.
Did you have your holiday too soon, Lloyd?
I've been to Greece already.
You could go again.
Last time I was there, it was on fire. Literally.
And not in the NBA Jam kind of way, no.
Is it on the beach because that's the only safe place they can put a bunch of nerds then? Yeah.
Yes, maybe. Yeah.
Sorry,
Greek people.
The signs of sizzling. Sizzle.
It's a thing of beauty and terrifyingness.
I would hate that. I'd be like, get the hell away from my mini. Don't you dare touch that. You've sun creamed your hand. I seen it. You sun creamed your hand.
I'm wondering at this point, like, if it's so warm down there, are the Irish just the kindling?
Yes.
Are we just gonna start smoldering because it's not warm down there?
Well, it's 42 last time I was in Greece.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's too hot. Too hot.
No.
Melting point of the average Irishman's around about 19 degrees.
Yeah.
I start going at about 15. It's not big, it's not clever.
15's a good day. 15's a really good day over here.
Yep.
Anything more than that is catastrophe.
Excessive and unnecessary, I think we all feel, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes, UKGE, Parabellum, Tank Museums. Go do all of those things. We're going to go and get stuck into the most important part of the show with our Indie of the Week.
Ooh.
And this week, I thought we'd go a bit Dinosaur Islandy. Because everyone likes dinosaurs. Ben likes dinosaurs.
I really do.
He does. Look at his little face. He's delightful.
I had all the magazines. I had the glowing dinosaur with the little green shell that went around it. I had books on dinosaurs. Oh, I love dinosaurs.
Nobody ever asks you what your favorite dinosaur is anymore. It's the
Iguanodon.
crime of adulthood.
Yeah, I had big thumbs. Or an ankylosaur. Had a big smashy tail.
Or a platypus.
Platypus? No.
This dinosaur looks a bit like a giant duck.
You're not right. You've gone wrong, mate.
It has a bill, and dinosaurs became birds, so it's just basically a giant duck.
Grand. I'll let the people in the comments explain biology to you. Right, we are checking out. I'm not getting involved in that one. Olmec games and the Drowned Earth. For a couple of reasons. One, it's cracking. Two, you can't stop me. I pick these. And three, that's true. Three, the newsletter this week threw up a little announcement as well. So I thought it'd be a good chance to showcase them in case people are interested, and then they can get involved as they see fit. So the Drowned Earth. The Drowned Earth is a future game. It's not post-apocalyptic. Everything has been apocalypsed, and the world has grown anew, and the world as we know it, long gone. Nobody even remembers it. It's like the pyramids. Nobody knows who built them,
pyramids,
how it was done. It's all
well, we do know ancient aliens. We know all this already.
Yeah, but we don't know which ancient aliens. There's a lot of them out there. So,
good posing there, John.
It could be any of them. Could be the Greys. Could be the Fingal dangles. Who knows?
I vote for the tall whites, not the Nordics. The Nordics too hot for the Nordics to be there to build pyramids.
Makes sense. So while there are dinosaurs, they are not our dinosaurs from our past. They are simply, if you imagine evolution starting again post the event. Nobody knows what the event is.
So this is like a duck that evolved back into a dinosaur.
Yes. Everything goes away, and then new races, new civilizations, and species arise. Dinosaurs are rebirthed. Humans continue because we, cling on in there like cockroaches. But then also humanoid versions of lizards and intelligent ape-type creatures that may have descended from gorillas. All of these things are kicking around in a really unique world that's it's Waterworld when the waters receded.
Intelligent ape-like creatures. That didn't go wrong once before, did it?
No. Well, now there's two. There's the humans and then also actual ape-like creatures like, gorillas and stuff. So you'll see them later on anyway. But
not if they're in the mist, you won't.
Well, Diane Fossey isn't around anymore to coax them out, so we should be fine. See one coming, shoot it dead. So the game is played out on a small board, very dense terrain. So you're playing on sort of a 3x3. You're playing with small groups, so factions, of which there are, I think, 7 or 8. Factions are made up of. There you go. Groups of 5 to 15 models max, and in most cases you'll never really play with the full 15. So as far as a very tight skirmish game with a low model count goes, this one's an absolute corker. Some of the factions are bigger than others, and there are also within them things like the Elia heroes. There's a dinosaur hunter. It's fine there, just don't go into
clever girl.
But there are some sort of mercenary types that can be used across faction as well.
Yay.
But it's things like this that I really like. I mean, humans, smoomans, as I believe you kids say. But
watch out for this guy. He'll cut your head off and hang it in Toad Hall.
Poop, poop, poop. Oh, dearie me. That's an additional set of pieces for the Elia hero from the Elia Chronicles game. So the Elia heroes are a team of 4. Again, multi-faction mercenaries, not a dwarf, just very short human. And then they had extra bits courtesy of the Kickstarter, so variant head types. I really like the gladiator helm as well, the Spanish helm. That one, yeah. For the little gruff dwarf, because he's, hench. See, I'm down with the kids. I've got post-it notes stuck up there that tell me words to use.
Oh, sick.
I'm on fleek, mate.
That's wicked. Oh, no, wait. That gets scored off the list. That's old.
Anyway, book, as the kids would say. So your factions, there's a couple of different ways you can get into it. You can pick booster packs and but there's also faction boxes. And a faction box will throw you a good chunk of your points needed for a game. So if you are getting into it,
where do I get a faction box?
A good way to go back to factions. You little jumpy round man, you.
Oh, factions.
And then pick one of those from across the top. So maybe something like the Wayfarers or Corsairs.
No, you want to pick a different one.
Well, not all of them have faction boxes because not all of them are massive.
Oh, that would help.
So, yeah, I'm just saying.
There you go. There's a faction starter.
So there you go. So the games play out sort of generally 150 point games. Most of these faction boxes rock in around the 100-point mark. So you've definitely got enough for your beginning games, and then you can go in and pick other bits and pieces, sort of individual blisters to add to it to push it a bit further. And obviously they all have a very unique look, and they've all got a theme depending on the faction you happen to be kicking around in, whether they're explorers or traders or pirates. That they lean into somewhat. I really like Birdman there with his fake wings. Used to have wings once, now I've just got feathery arms.
That must be annoying if you evolve past having wings.
Yeah. But they did evolve towards having opposable thumbs, so in many respects they win.
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. I will say this week in that newsletter did talk about doing individual models directly from them. So at the moment, if you're after certain things, some of them only come in specific blisters or packs, but it's worth keeping an eye or maybe even pinging an email and asking what the state of play is on the individual stuff. Because there's some, especially for painters, there are some absolutely corking models, really unique, bit different, could fold into other games or could just be a really nice painting project. She's so happy. I don't know why she's happy. That's flesh, by the way. She's skinned a lot of people.
Well, this. That's why she's happy.
That's why she's never happier than when she's got a butcher's knife out.
I don't know where she got this big red hand from.
She's ready for the 12th house.
I assume it's some sort of stop sign that has been found alongside an ancient road. But yeah, your games are an interesting blend. D10 system backed up with cards, and they have a nice mechanic where you have phases of success, essentially. So you can have, I think, do they call it neat? No, nailed it. There's a super duper success.
Are you reading off your list now? Nailed it. Is this just you reading your funky words list?
No, there's my chuggy. He's got my chuggy word list in his hand there. So when you're rolling under stat on D10, and if you're rolling opposed to your opponent, they're doing the same. But there's a band close to your success level where you've done it, but maybe you haven't done it as spectacularly as you could have. Cool. And then there's a further success, sort of more like a critical success, or that helps differentiate levels of success for when you're doing those opposed rolls. And then there's also an optional narrative critical success that you can fold in if you like playing more narrative games. And I think with something like the Drowned Earth and having those small skirmishy bands of really unique characters, adding in the narrative crits is a really good way of doing it. It's a gorilla with a gun. These are an unusual looking set of factions. He looks like Captain Sensible, which is another one for the kids in the audience. Go and Google Captain Sensible. You'll not regret it. There you can see like the stat lines and the like. So all of those numbers are D10 based and below, or in some cases will be actual numbers. So for health,
your armor value or something like that.
Yeah, that'll be taken off. So it's very clean setup as well. You can find out more about this because you can download the whole rules for free, gratis, off the website if you are interested, along with all the card packs. So if you go to,
I think it was on the shop in downloads.
Yeah, maybe. Shop downloads right at the bottom. You will have to download it though, Lloyd. So
I'll have to sign in and all that jazz.
Yeah. The only difference between the free rolls and the hardback is the hardback is lovely hardback, and it's got a ton more backstory and the like, because they're very, Olmec are really, really heavily into the narrative side of things, which you can see when you go to stuff like the story part of the website, which is just filled with short stories and tales from Ulia, which is the continent they're on. And they've just been building this up over time, including things like they did a campaign back in 2018, he said in a high questioning voice, where lots of people were feeding into it and giving their stories, and that sort of became part of the world. It helped grow what was going on. But I think it offers a really interesting tabletop to play on. You know, the derelict remnants of our civilization, looking not dissimilar to something like Machu Picchu or some, you know, jungle covered Peruvian ancient world now to us. You know, you're looking at going, well, what was this place? What's going on there?
Yeah.
Was it all created by aliens? Nobody can build something that high. It must have been. If
you've played Horizon Zero Dawn on PlayStation, it's got a very similar vibe and look to it. So yeah.
but they're loving life and doing the best they can while they're out there. Now, all of the factions, obviously, like I was saying, all have their own sort of traits or themes behind them, whether they're treasure hunters or corsairs. Haven't mentioned the dinosaurs yet.
All right,
the dinosaurs are possibly my favorite faction / thing.
Where do we look?
If you do the big drop down for factions, you'll see them right at the very bottom of it. Beasts.
Way.
Oh, baby.
And this is because while you're in the jungle attempting to find something or being chased by pirates, you might just upset a herd of something or a nest of whatever or make somebody very hungry. And these things come reaping in out of nowhere.
They're so good.
So you're having to deal with essentially the wildlife.
That's it.
Of
Dinosaurs
the,
so good. Yes.
And that I really enjoy. It's not a faction that you're going to have to worry about. Your friends brought dinosaurs all the time. It's the pair of you have to worry about the fact that maybe something a bit biffy will get annoyed that you're there and it's trying to sleep.
Yeah. It's the wandering monster thing.
Turned
up to 11.
These I love because you've got sort of 3 levels. You can see there a swarm, and the swarms can be led by like an alpha, like that. Yeah. Which is like a level above, or sometimes alphas might just be kicking around themselves. And they, while cute and small, are more fearsome the more there are. So you're having to deal with packs of them and they come charging out of nowhere. And once you've dealt with a couple of them, then the rest are less of an inconvenience. But it's
we have a painting tutorial on these.
Brutes. Yeah, we do. It's the big brutes that I really, really like, where you've got something like a intelligent herbivore there. Not a triceratops, because different, but similar. Where they may just be wandering around the place and you happen to have come into its stomping ground and now it wants to get rid of you. Those are nice. The raptor / T-Rex like big carnivores are brutal and brutal deluxe. And I love them.
Ayahuasca-saurus.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. I see the paint jobs they've picked.
Yeah.
Spot
on.
They're
brilliant. Yeah.
So evocative. I painted one up. I might stick up in front of the camera in a minute. For the Elia Chronicles. And what I did was Johan Eyerkrantz, who I adore, has done a book on dinosaurs, which is actually being made into a board game as we speak.
It is, yes.
And I found one that looks very similar to the dino I wanted to paint and just took his color scheme, essentially. It's that model, actually, I've painted, but mine's very different.
This one?
Yep. Yeah. See there.
Yeah, we can't see that.
No, like I say, I'll wait till you begging me again before I show that, because I'm not leaving here until we do. But with the dinos, apart from being big and brutal, they are gorgeous pieces. And I mean, if you get those and then maybe you pick up something like 7TV and then you take a wee wander across to Antediluvian Miniatures and pick up Troy McClure and the others from the Lost World, and you could do a really nice Lost World.
You really could, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm really disappointed though. There was no duck.
See,
maybe they'll listen to you and they'll put that in the future, Lloyd. They'll put a big duck in.
Can you see my lovely modelling?
We can see your lovely modelling.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's good.
Yeah,
that's what I did with mine.
The other thing that's really nice about Drowned Earth is that I think it's one of those that's perfect for getting terrain for. Because you just go and raid the pet store and you just go and get all that stuff that you would put into a fish tank or a reptile tank and you just build a board out of that.
All you want is tons of greenery. The jungle is massive. Again, one for the kids.
That's right. You could just buy a few reptiles.
Yes.
Wait for them to die. Harvest the bones.
Oh, yeah.
You're the worst.
Where's your gecko? In my terrain collection now.
I can't believe you would even suggest that.
Someone's done that.
Yeah. There's also, because I've mentioned it a few times, Elia is the continent they're on. doesn't really specify which one it is. Could be the Americas, could be Europe, could be Australia.
So is Yulia like a city, or what's Yulia?
No, it's the full continent. However, there's also a game called the Yulia Chronicles, which is a cooperative narrative game, and the miniatures for that, which is the ones that I have kicking around beside me here, are cross-compatible with the game and vice versa. So if you don't want to play a competitive PvP style game, you against your friend, if you want to play a cooperative game, then that Raptor Island game is a great
against
way
the
of doing
dinos.
it. Yes. It contains all the cards, so everything can be used back in the Drowned Earth as well, which means it's a really good starting point for people who might go, I'm not sure, because that's a self-contained game. Got the cards, the rules, everything's in there, and then you can get the rules for the full Drowned Earth game. And because you've got the cards in that set, then you've got a bunch of stuff where you can go, well, we can now test out the actual Drowned Earth as well. If you fancy going a bit more confrontational, adversarial, dinosaur.
Lloyd looks like he's found something sneaky, and he's.
I'm just looking. Are they what material are they using?
Right, so models are metal for the most part for the figures. The dinos are a PVC, so a thermoplastic like Ceocast type thing. However,
like
he's recently picked up
the resin.
No, that's 3D print. He's recently picked up a very, very top end, like 12K 3D printer, and there's
This
plans.
guy's had a terrible time.
Well, he's fine. That has to go away. There are plans to play around with the 3D printer bit. So potentially, maybe if you want a specific model as a bust printed in 70mm scale, or larger, then they have the potential to do that now. They've a lot of plans over the next year or so to sort of expand where the Drowned Earth is and where it's going to, and then also in the background the store as a whole as well, which is nice. You can see they're corking stuff.
But did they have a fire? Because it looks like there's been a fire in this personal blog.
Yes,
the day before UKGE last year, which is why they weren't at it. Their house burnt down. So they've had a shit 12 months. It went from super shit to we're getting better to we're getting by to, folks, we're pretty much back in business. Thanks for all that. If people want to, then they can go and support in other ways. You can get funky t-shirts and hoodies as well.
If anybody's excited by the idea of the game and they want to learn more, we actually have a whole bunch of Let's Plays for the Drowned Earth and Raptor Claw Island and everything. So I'll put some links down below so people can go and check those out, because you can learn how it plays and have some fun. So very nice.
And the final little tidbit, the amuse-bouche to cleanse your palate before we go is
there's more.
On the 20th of June, they will be doing a Kickstarter for something. They haven't said, but there were little pictures that they sent in the newsletter. So it's worth having a butcher's at their newsletter if you want to know more about what's going on, what's happening, and where it is, because that looks fascinating. So Elias Central, excuse me, keep you updated with what's happening. But I've seen both dinosaurs, what appears to be some sort of land cruiser with a koala as a lookout on top of a mast.
Amazing.
So it's giving me heavy Mad Max, the crazy riders in Mad Max.
Oh, right.
But on dinosaur basis. I don't know what's going on there.
We've got quite a few unboxings and painting tutorials over on OnTableTop.com.
Yeah.
Buy merch.
Buy merch.
Best part of that is there is no merch.
There is no merch.
Anyway, so yes.
Dear.
Olmec Cubes, you should definitely go and have a butcher's at them, because I think they're one of those games and companies that lurk away in the background, and the people who play it love it, but not
A bit like
everybody's heard of
Bushido,
it.
I always say.
Yeah.
It's like it's in that kind of camp for me. That kind of those
Yes.
lovely
Yeah.
sort of corner games that are amazing, but more people need to see.
Don't get the exposure.
Yes,
Yeah. Which is what the Indie of the Week is all about.
exactly.
All about exposing them. Right. I think it's time for some news.
Coming to you from the center of Northwestern Europe. Covering board games, war games, card games, and all that you love. It's the news.
All right, so our first bit of news takes us back to antiquity,
Yay!
to the Punic Wars,
Ooh.
because what has been teased by Walad has now gone up for pre-order with a
It
whole
has?
host of epic battle goodness with Hail
Mhm.
Caesar and their Hannibal range. And this is, I mean, if you're going to play small scale. I still have issues with debasing, but that's me.
Mhm.
Which I'll mention at some point anyway. Don't worry.
You got issues with this basing?
Yep. The base frontages for those miniatures are identical to if you play in 28mm. And my main problem with Hail Caesar is the movement is so huge that you don't have room to maneuver on the board.
Right.
So those.
But isn't that a complaint against the rule set rather than the actual miniatures?
Well, no, because they had the opportunity, but in smaller scale, to have those base sizes. Because the game just plays as is anyway. It's how many bases make up a unit. So if you have a 5 strong unit, then it's still going to take the same frontage, which means when it moves across the table, it still takes like a foot of space on a 6-foot board. It doesn't take many to completely block off any maneuvering that you could potentially be doing. That's
I don't know
my
if
problem.
I'm following. There's 10 guys across here, for example.
I don't care about the
You want
guys. I could not give a monkeys about the guys. Because
So
they could be 28mm 2 guys on that same base size. I want those bases halved.
How would they fit
whenever-
10 guys across then on a half base? You'd have to put lots of bases together.
But you're putting lots of bases together anyway. See the way it says ×6 there? Besides, some of those are ×5. Because that is not a unit too strong. That is a showcase of
That's a
4
representation
more of
of
those.
What?
Put 4 more of those alongside, and that's your unit.
I thought that's how many they had in the box. 6.
It is, but at the same time, your units are composed of between X and X number of bases.
Oh my god, there's a lot of painting in this.
So when lines start to
And
swing,
Lloyd
and move,
gives
it
up.
blocks everything. Anyway, so yes, basing aside,
Mm-hmm.
the range is fairly expansive in plastic.
It really is already. Yeah.
which is kind of cool. Obviously, gearing in there on both the Carthaginian and Roman factions. The big starter set there contains some really nice bits of kit, including obviously the Heffalumps, which we'll see more of later on, and a bit of terrain as well. The sets themselves can be picked up separately, so you can supplement your forces. There's your lovely manipular formations of Romans, Hastati, Principes, Triarii.
I only hear that in the sound from Rome Total War, where they'll be like, Triorii, Hastati, and all that kind of stuff. It's so good. Anyway,
Well,
sorry.
there was a popular phrase in Rome at the time when something needed to be done. You sent in the Triarii.
Mm-hmm.
When things had gone badly wrong, send in the Triarii. They were the third line, and they often didn't get to fight.
Yeah, and when you
because-
wanted nothing done, you sent in the Contrarii.
Yes, of which you carry on so valiantly, Rome.
Yeah.
But yes, supplemental sets as well. So the Carthaginians with their Numidian, well, all the allies really from the Med, Numidians, Phoenician, Libyans, and obviously then when they hit Spain, or that peninsula anyway, they picked up a ton of Celts as they headed north looking for some Alp-like crossing regions.
I'm confused again.
All
Look,
the
they've
people
got-
the Romans pissed off.
They've got
Yes,
Gaelic Celt Warband
yes.
and ×4,
Yes.
but there's 6 here.
Again, images are representative, not what you're actually looking at.
The numbers is
So-
what you actually get.
Yes.
The pictures are there to tell you what nice things they are.
What they look like. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so I don't get 10 Carthaginian commanders.
You do get 10 Carthaginian commanders, yes. Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is the units, right? Let's just take a step back. Your unit, even though there's got 2 bases of Numidian skirmishers there, you get 5 of those in total. But when you field them on the tabletop, you don't field them in 2s. You could field them as 2s, 3s, 4s, or 5s. And when
so I can field a small little army of 2s.
Yes.
Like 2 of this, 2 of that, 2 of something else.
Sure. And I will.
Because if you tell me I have to paint all of this times 6, and that times 6, and that times 4, I'm going to keel over and die.
Sure. so you could do that, and what you'll have is representative of something, I'm sure. And what I would do is then just put 5 or 6 bases into a unit and steamroller you, because you won't be able to stop it. And then you'll go, oh, well, then I will need to do big units. Half the base size.
But there's a lot of painting in this, as you will find out if you watch the Sunday show.
There is a lot of painting in it, yeah. That's the joy of mass battles. There's a lot of painting in anything. Just get them in there, get them all together.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you've confused and distracted me, Lloyd.
Right,
as is your
just like a school
life.
teacher.
Yeah. Well,
look at this! 18 times this! Oh my god!
Numbers are a frightening thing for you, Lloyd, aren't they?
But I want to have a life. What's going on?
What if next time we just
You're in the
mask
wrong
out
hobby
all
if
the
you want a
numbers?
life.
We just mask out all the numbers so you don't have to see any numbers. It's less
Contains
terrifying
war
for you.
elephants. That's all you need to know.
Yes.
8 of them. That's not too
You
bad.
don't need to know there's 8. You just need to know they're there.
Everybody likes war heffalumps, and the more the merrier. I think Colin did say there were flaming pigs coming as well. These little command sets as well are really, really nice. I particularly like the elder there getting offered up some drink from a slave. It's a hot day.
Look at the jug on her.
Amphora.
What?
It's not jug, it's amphora.
Oh, right, okay.
Your jug fails because of my sticklerness for naming conventions. Publius Cornelius Scipio doesn't become Africanus until after this. Just scrub that name off. But these are really nice set of command figures for your forces as well. Obviously, with Hail Caesar, it relies on the command and control. So your commanders are vital where they are on the tabletop as well. And obviously, if you can get into a position where you can ring them off from their actual command, then they become ineffective and terrible. And then we have the same for the Carthaginians. So Hannibal Barker is there doing the Lord's own work along with various brothers and cousins and friends.
I was going to say the rest of the Barker family.
A lot of them. Not the rest, though. And once again, my favourite Barker is missing. In a similar way,
Barker.
In a similar way to Alexander the Great. Everybody goes, Alexander the Great, look what he did. And they keep forgetting that Philip, his father, built that army and made Macedon what it is.
Philip of Macedon, yeah.
Similarly, Hamilcar Barker, his dad, really did the legwork to make Carthage what it was. And if he hadn't, we probably would never have heard about Carthage and about Hannibal and his elephants. But he always gets ignored because that earlier part of the Punic Wars just kind of gets glossed over a bit. But it's a substantial amount of plastics coming along with some little additional bits and pieces to be able to field a ton of stuff. And I mean, you've got 3 Punic Wars.
What's the last 3 sets about then? Just the same stuff, but more?
So they're 3 separate
supplementally.
Sets,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, if you
do
don't
I need
get a
numbers
big
here, or do I see what I get?
I'm just going to say you see what you get, Lloyd. And you don't have to worry about numbers. We are seriously airbrushing out every number on every picture from now on. So the big first thing we looked at was the 2-player starter set, which will have your rule book and all of the pieces you need to play. But if you don't particularly want the Romans because they're scum, or if you want to add in substantially more allies to your Carthaginians or what have you, then you can just pick up the individual armies and supplementary forces and go that way. Although,
yeah,
I do like Carthage.
I think they're going to end up splitting down a lot of these anyway as well. So because obviously there's a lot of Gallic stuff in there. So you'll be able to just go Gallic if you really want to, because you've got a lot of Gallic commanders available in there too. So yeah, it should be.
Yeah, like the other boxes they've done for ACW and for Waterloo, then they'll do the individual sort of sprues units type later on. The only thing will be bear with. I'm just looking to see what the composition of a sprue is, because it might be that the Celts are blended with another.
That would be interesting.
In which case you may not be able to get just Celts. You may end up having to go Celts Numidians. I don't know if I've got any.
I will say while Jerry's looking at that, the commander sets are Warlord resin, so they're different to the plastic that you'll get in the main box sets and stuff. And then in the main big Hannibal battle set, there's variant sculpts of Hannibal Barca and Scipio Africanus. Well, Scipio. So you'll be able to choose alternative versions of them. And obviously, because it's a big launch box, you get the pre-order stuff with them too. So you get casualty markers and all that kind of thing, which is quite nice. And that little tiny Sarissa tower, which just looks
little tower.
Adorable. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yeah, they are great.
I was like, that is one overrun watchtower. You put that in the middle of the board and you're relying on those guys to, guys.
Well, don't have any of the Celts. The Carthaginians just contain your Libyan spear and veterans, along with the horse. Although there are a couple of look like Numidian skirmishers on there as well.
You're looking at the same spurs I'm looking at there.
Yes, I'm looking at that one. So it might be that the Celts come on a separate one. There's certainly enough in those pictures that could do a whole Celt sprue and a whole Numidian. Because even if you want to do Numidian against Carthage as well, because there were some frisky fights to the south before things kicked off Upper Med. With
Carthage had to come from somewhere. They had to make an empire there first.
Oh yeah, well, Carthage Carthage was a settlement of the Phoenicians. So Phoenician settlements cropped up starting around the Levant across, and then Carthage was a settlement that got out of hand and ended up being bigger than the empire that spawned it. God bless them. But yeah, if you're interested in taking a swing at the Punic Wars, want to go for, say, half the base sizes, you'll be able to actually play more interesting games on your tabletop as well.
What is the footprint of the actual game? What's the table size play on?
It's meant to be a 6x4.
Okay, so just because the minis got smaller, the table size didn't necessarily get any smaller.
No ranges or anything
Epic
changed.
Battles. Yeah.
So can I play this on like a half size if I just halved all the measurements or something then?
Yeah. If you want to. You'll have even less room to maneuver.
Because when I look at it, I think, there's an opportunity here to have a great travel set too. But not if you're still winging around a 6-foot board with you.
Who are you? Alessio Cavatore making travel battles.
By that point, grab a
Perry Miniatures.
Grab a different rule set like DBX. So one of the DBA games, because they play on like a 2x2 anyway, with all the sizes are constricted, and they all work off the frontage of your unit, so it doesn't matter that the unit is on that obscene size, because you'll only ever be having 2 or maybe 3 if you're lucky units. Ideally they should be on squares, but I digress constantly. You can pre-order those now if you fancy.
You can.
Right. Sticking with history, but coming a bit more up to the modern period, John.
That's right. We have a lot of pre-orders coming out from Battlefront Miniatures for Flames of War. Obviously, this is the 80th anniversary of D-Day this year, so there's a lot of people going over to France and having fun with that.
Not you, because you don't have a passport.
I don't have a passport, so I'm not going to Normandy this year, sadly. 2014, still the peak for me. Here's what it is. So what Battlefront are doing is bringing together all the previous D-Day books, so all the D-Day forces books, the British, the German, the Americans, putting them all together into one big book, which they frequently do with a lot of their releases. They'll take all the smaller books and then put it all together and let you have everything that you need to play all the forces
this is
in that particular campaign.
It's all in this one book.
It's all in that one book. So the previous books like D-Day British, D-Day German, SS, American are all in this new book. I don't believe there's been many changes. I've heard there's maybe a couple of points tweaks here and there just to sort of level things off a little bit. I believe there's some new cards and stuff coming as well.
I have those here.
Yeah.
I wonder if
have them there.
In the past with some of the combined books, they would generally go, well, we've got more page count and slip a couple of extra lists in as well that they weren't able to fit into the smaller books. So
I believe some of the smaller, like 21st Panzer, which came out as a supplement to the D-Day German book, I think it's going to be in there as well.
It's going to be combined. That's handy.
What's in the video? Is this their video?
That's their video.
Yes.
Yeah. It's basically just a teaser of what's coming up. So, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there you go. So a lot of new formations. Cool.
Yeah. 21st Panzer's in there, which is, I think, is that handy for us, Jerry? No, it's Lair.
It's Lair.
Yeah. So as you can see here as well, we have some army boxes, which are re-releases of some of the old ones that came out back, I think, at the end of 3rd edition. I think was the last time the D-Day stuff got a release.
You can see them if you click the
just
next
go to
link
the
in
post,
the running
Lloyd.
order, Lloyd.
Oh, there's another link. Excellent.
Yeah.
So
sorry, John.
I believe there's 4 boxes coming. So there's the 7th Armored Division, which is for the British. They have the American 2nd Armored Division. We then have the Panzer Lair box, and I believe we have a 21st Panzer box as well coming. So lots of stuff, and I believe some of these are fan favorites as well, particularly 21st Panzer, because they have all that strange modified ex-French stuff. They've put new guns and stuff onto just to make them a bit more ad hoc.
Well,
quite attractive.
We've got to find a use for them somehow. Every gun was needed for Festung Europa, and if that means press ganging some Lorraines into the middle of nowhere, then so be it. It'll do this thing.
So yeah, it's a nice amalgamation of everything that we had and we enjoyed when 4th edition was getting into getting this momentum built up with all the D-Day stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't get to go to Normandy this year, so I'm going to be playing with this stuff.
It's the 7th.
Do you like the contents of the stuff they put into the new boxes? Well, the refined ones. They seem pretty cool. So
yeah, I'm glad that we've definitely solidified going back to having infantry in boxes because I champion that every time.
They can hold those objectives.
Yeah, exactly. I like it because we're going British for the vlog that has started to roll out now. So it's the first time I'm getting to play with the likes of Cromwells and stuff like that. So I've never built or painted a Cromwell.
Really?
Until this point. No. Never bothered with Cromwells for whatever reason.
He gets the tanks. I get the infantry.
You chose the infantry.
He beat me. He said I was doing the infantry, or he would come back and do me up like a kipper. I said, please come. I'm just covered in, if I lift my shirt, I'm just covered in bruises from him. He's vicious. Kicks like a mule as well.
That's what that was that day you came out of the office all bloodied. I'd wondered what that was about.
Crying. My mascara was running. It was horrendous. But yeah. The vlog, first part of which went out this week. If you want to know more, you can go and have a wee nosy for that, folks, and see exactly what John and myself are planning. But essentially, we're gearing up to commemorate the 80th anniversary in our own little way by refighting the battle for Villers-Bocage, more or less on the day it was fought.
Hopefully.
So, as close to as we can make it.
As close as we can make it.
Cracking
one thing
Battlefront there.
One thing I quite liked about those army sets as well is that it looks like they're, as well as it just being a good collection of miniatures, you also get all the other bits and pieces you need. So you get things like dice, cards, objective markers, all that kind of thing.
Yep.
So if you are somebody who is maybe following along with what we're doing, and you want to get your own pre-orders in and maybe build up something to play out games during D-Day and stuff, maybe get your hands on some of those, and you'll be able to set up and start playing. So if you've never played Flames of War before or something, or maybe you've played at older editions and you want to dive back in, pretty decent option. Obviously, of course, there's the prize from this week as well.
Ooh,
oh yes,
that's
good
correct.
starting point. Hit that beach.
Hit the Beach is still one of the best, bang for your buck when you're getting into a game system like this.
God, yeah.
Like,
By a country mile. As far as starter sets go, for the price, that is amazeballs. And even if you don't even look at the price.
Where are people commenting this week to win?
Here on the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes. Aren't you lucky? You don't have to go anywhere. You can just comment down below.
Yes.
They are so lucky. Well, they do.
Jerry is benevolent.
I am. It's once a week, whether I feel like it or not, I try to be benevolent. Just that once. The rest of the time, I'm an angry god. Right. So, yes, trying to remember, pre-orders are now for D-Day stuff and then release on the 8th of June?
On the 8th, yeah. That's what I was told was the 8th.
Okay. So there you go. So just in and around the anniversary of D-Day itself then. If you fancy that, keep an eye for those. Now, Mutant Year Zero is into pre-order, Ben.
Yeah, so Free League are now taking pre-orders for their very successful Kickstarter project that is now moving into retail, based on the Mutant Year Zero role-playing game that has done exceptionally well. Jerry even has them in his hands from the lovely crowdfunding campaign that they did.
Is there anything you don't get, Jerry?
Not based on my bank balance now.
Have you got like a secret house where you stash all this stuff?
No, just my regular house is just where I stash all this stuff.
You don't like have sofas and stuff anymore. You just have boxes that are sort of shaped like.
What do you
sofas.
think keeps the cushions up in the? Yeah.
All the boxes are covered in fleece battle mats from Cigar Box.
Yes.
And that's what you
just
sell.
lounge on them. Yeah. But yes, so this is the post-apocalyptic skirmish game based on Mutant Year Zero called Zone Wars. This is headed up by Andy Chambers, who a lot of people will know for Necromunda and Drop Zone and all sorts of different things like that. Drop Fleet, sorry, I suppose you'd say, and Battle Fleet. But in this one, in Zone Wars, you are diving in as stalkers who are heading out into the zone in search of artifacts and supplies and all sorts of good stuff like that. So it's a good old sort of skirmishy game of post-apocalyptic nonsense. So,
what I see here is that a duck.
It is a duck. Oh, we found it eventually. So yes, this is a 32mm game, which features plastic miniatures, as you can see there, all pre-assembled plastics, looking very nice indeed. Obviously very good if you want to, as Jerry would say incorrectly, but play role-playing games if you wanted to dive into Year Zero itself and play the game. The two factions that come in the box set are the Arc Mutants and the Gen Lab tribe. And as well as the miniatures, you also get the rulebook, the terrain, the cards, and a whole bunch of scenarios. So I think there's 5 of them in the core set for you to play through. So you got a little tiny campaign for you to dive into and run through, which I think is really cool. The whole idea of it is that it's been meant to be put together as kind of like a big sort of beer and pretzel style affair. So you sit down, have some fun, roll some dice, just cause chaos. It sort of fits really quite nicely, I think, with the vibe that everyone's feeling from the likes of Fallout factions and stuff at the moment, where people are loving that post-apocalyptic thing and they want to dive in and have some fun in a different world. Then this is a good one to dive into, especially if you're a fan of Mutant Year Zero and the role-playing game itself. Lovely card terrain, as you can see there.
It's really nice, actually. This literally arrived 5 minutes before we start recording, so I haven't opened it yet.
Free League do very nice plush stuff, it has to be said. And this is, I think, is this their first foray into miniatures games? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so getting someone like Andy Chambers on board is a fantastic bonus, and having some really nice plastic figures as well. Gorgeous stuff.
They are actually really nice. These were Kickstarter, and they did what they call it, sun drop, where they're like washed and dry brushed before they're put in. I don't know if the retail version are also sun dropped.
I don't imagine they will be. Yeah.
Sun dropped? Who came up with that term?
I have no idea. But it's something.
It's basically like just washing and highlighting.
It's like a fancy way of saying slap chopped. Sun dropped.
Slap in the base. As well as the core game. for Zone Wars, which comes with those two factions that I previously mentioned, so the Arc Mutants and the Gen Lab tribe. There's also an expansion box that was available during the crowdfunder, is now available via retail as well.
Guess who has it?
Yeah, called Robots and Psionics. And this one comes with 2 new warbands for the Mechatron, Hive, and the Nova Cult. So again, if you're someone who's been playing the role-playing game for a while, you'll be very familiar with these and sort of diving into the background for it. You do need the core box to play with this, but this allows you to expand it to include 4 players on the tabletop at one time. So as I said, the whole kind of like focus of the game is that you're trying to hunt down artifacts and uncover things that have been left in the ruins of civilization. And so it just makes sense to throw even more players into the mix and have it up to 4 so you can have some fun. And it's looking really awesome.
So, these Sun-Dropped minis we're looking at here then? So the minis don't necessarily come like this because they look kind of appreciated, these minis that we're looking at.
Well, I don't know. I know they specifically said that these ones from the Kickstarter were going to be. It might be that they're going to do it for all of retail.
Those, in fact, those are the product shots.
Yours are Sun-Dropped. Hey!
This is literally the first time I've had it in my hand. Detail's really nice. Plastic is soft-ish, but not super soft.
Not quite as bad as board game plastic, then.
Yeah. No, these are right up there. If anybody's had Mantic's Walking Dead, they feel similar, maybe a little bit harder than that. He's got a really, really... Can you see the herringbone pattern on his jumper?
We'll tell you in a minute when I feel... Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, really nice.
Going to come out nicely with a wash, that.
Yeah. Won't be painting that. Who knows? The fact that I've got all 4 factions here means it may appear as a Let's Play on the channel shortly.
I think Shay might have some gaming in his future. So.
Not beyond the realms of possibility. If Lloyd was ever
maybe rope in Lloyd and Lloyd can play with the duck.
Lloyd can play the
Yay!
duck. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I'm all for that.
You're right there, Jay. You sound like a dime.
Yes.
But yeah. So Mutant Year Zero Zone Wars available to pre-order right now from the folks at Free League. As I say, there's the main set and the expansion for you to go and pick up. And I'm sure more stuff will be coming in the future, no doubt, if it goes down well.
They also did a couple of little videos during the Kickstarter where they showed off the mechanics and rules as well. So if you want to see how it plays, if you go to the Free League's YouTubes, then you can actually see the game blow by blow, essentially.
I will put a link down below.
So, I will find it.
Yeah. You sure you're all right there, Jerry? We can pause and so you can get a drink of vodka or whatever it is you need to clear that throat of yours.
I think we will take a little break. When we come back, Ben can tell us all about Hobday and Hicks.
So the Barons War is evolving in a new and interesting way. Hobday and Hicks, the detective pairing, actually no, just game designers and sculptors, are working on the Barons War Fantasy Skirmish, which is going to be coming to Kickstarter soon. We have been seeing previews for this coming out since last year, around the same time. Yes, exactly. The rules are going to be coming from Andy Hobday, who has done obviously the Barons War, and he's done a 1066 Conquest version of that as well. Obviously worked on loads of other games at the same time, but he's now sort of diving into the world of fantasy and a new genre. With a new Kickstarter that's going to be coming up very, very soon. Yeah,
I guess the rules are very closely related to the Barons War rules.
I would say they are probably very, very similar. So if you have played that medieval game, this will be a good stepping off point for you to dive into fantasy. And of course, you could use those humans in your games if you really wanted to. The focus of the first campaign, anyway, is going to be on elves and orcs, and you'll have to choose your faction, as they say. So you can either choose between the elves or the orcs, as you can see here, some of the mountain orc designs. Artwork has also been done by the ever amazing Peter Dennis, who does superb work. And as you will have noticed by looking at these, they have a distinctly Tolkien-esque quality to them. So if you're somebody who likes the idea of playing out the Silmarillion, perhaps, yes, then you have some very nice options here, as you can see. They've been doing previews for months and months and months at this point, and Hicks has not disappointed. He's done some gorgeous pieces, as you can see here in some of the earlier previews and stuff. They have said that they're going to be doing both humans and undead and dwarves down the line as well, although they're not going to be part of the first Kickstarter, or at least a major part of it, because they can't do everything at once. And obviously Hicks only has so many fingers.
Depends if he counts his clones or not.
Yeah. He has sculpted all of Arnhem at this point, so I'm fairly sure we can let him off, as we talked about last week. But yeah. So the dwarves are probably going to creep up the list a little bit more, and they're going to be included in the next campaign. Possibly with the humans or there have been a few teasers of them, but you'll find them on Facebook.
I've missed those.
Yes. There was one dwarf that popped up, and he was like a Babylonian styled version of the dwarves. So again, very kind of first age Middle Earthy Tolkien, which was quite cool.
That is sweet. Do you think they use Peter Dennis to do the artwork, as he's the only person who can keep up with Paul Hicks's sculpting?
I think so. Yes.
You know, if you've got a pair of people who are constantly churning out stuff on a daily basis, that's them. One man sculpts and the other man designs.
Yeah. I mean, Hicks just consistently sculpts, and Peter Dennis is not only doing all the artwork for, I don't know, about 1 billion companies, but also doing his own paper miniatures as well. So, you know, he's not short of work.
It's a good Protestant work ethic I keep hearing about.
Yeah. I think so that's one of the Elven commanders that they showed off as part of the Facebook group.
I'd seen the elf.
Lovely. Oh, God.
I'd missed
so good.
It's nice to see an elf going to war who looks like he's going to war and not to a dinner
with
dance.
An axe. There's the dwarf. Yeah. And they spell dwarfs right with a V. As opposed to one of the campaigns, which we'll look at later, but there's a reason. Anyway.
There is.
But yeah, look at those. They're so good.
Yes.
Definitely going to be picking some of these up.
He has a touch of the Varangian guard about him.
I was thinking that. He's like a short Varangian.
Yeah. It's like Harold has nipped off to do some light bodyguarding in his youth and make a bit of cash on the side.
Yeah.
And come back all dwarvy and start smashing orcs.
Yeah. I'm assuming around the same kind of miniatures in terms of numbers for the Barons' War. So you're looking 20 models, 30 models perhaps at max. So small war bands fighting out on the tabletop. Lots of intricate detail and lots of character building, lots of very narrative based scenarios and things like that. Will be really fun. But yes, obviously we'll be covering that Kickstarter when it comes out. Keep an eye out for that in the near future. Very cool.
Oh yeah, we're nothing if not predictable in that respect. Yeah. I'm
going to go and nudge Hobday and Hicks once again, see if we can get them on the show. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. I'm gutted because I didn't get a chance to talk to them at UKG last year.
That's all right. Justin talked to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just let that one hang.
Paul gave me an orc, which is still sitting around here. You painted it? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's because I gave you my orc that I was going to keep, but I was like, you know what? Lloyd will like this. So
I do like it.
So
you're just too nice to him. I didn't paint mine. It has to be said. I was looking for it because it's lived on this desk in front of me for the last year, but now it's not. It's not here. I've moved them elsewhere. But they're really nice metal sculpts.
They are gorgeous. Yeah. There he is.
There's mine.
This big chopper. Well,
focus, damn you.
What shield did you put on that? Because it didn't come with a shield. Because it was
I just nicked one out of a plastic one out of some other kit.
Well, you generally have loads of them, but because you don't like using them. Yeah. So
yes,
nice to see this because, like I say, when the designer hands you a model, go there you go, have a little. And a year passes, you're just thinking, what's happening with these? Where have they gone? I thought we'd have seen this late last year, maybe. But
yeah, me too. Yeah.
Great to see it finally arrive. Now, sticking with fantasy, but going a wee bit bigger. Parabellum have shown off a new city-states model, and boy, Grabthar's hammer. It's amazing. It is the Talos, or Talos, depending on how you feel. And it's going to be an Artisan series miniature, which means it's a big beast and it's resin and it's absolutely spanking gorgeous.
It's a big beast, eh?
Oh,
it is a big beast.
Enormulous. So the background for these is the Talos aren't really like the other Titans, which are currently about. There's a Promethean and Hephaestus.
Yes,
possibly.
I believe that's right.
Are the current plastic Titans, and they are frontline punchers. This absolute monster is heavily armored and armed, but they're more tactical coordinators. That they're there to facilitate the city-states fighting and work between the humans and the giants. So they're more about command and control and support than being just British frontline fighters, despite what he looks like. So it's going to add a bit of bump to the city-state army. Don't know the actual rules yet, which is killing me, because you know how I like to look at the rules and see exactly how they appear in game. I don't know if people like that or not, and it's not going to stop me. Just be thankful. But
you know this guy's going to be angry when he's got a spinal tap going from his back into his belly.
Well, the city-states have a biomechanical feel to them. They are the last remnants of the old high-tech civilization that survived post the god going absolutely mad and trying to end the world. So they have a very high level of technology, which they use to do things like make their hoplites clockwork. And by clockwork, I mean give them essentially bionics to help them fight. And in this case, obviously with the Titans as well, they still use that. So he's a bit more of a puncher than a caster, but apparently they're going to be almost impossible to kill on the tabletop. And he looks like he should be impossible to kill. You can see there the alternative head as well. But I like if a helmet's available on a fighter, I like putting it on normally. But I have to say that helmetless one, where it looks like the wire work is almost like a Greek beard coming out from his jaw.
Yeah, it's really well
done.
That
is beautiful.
And then the helmet under the arm there instead.
Yeah. So there's, a wealth of painting possibilities in that. He just looks absolutely cracking, screaming, "This is City Stadia," and then kicking people off stuff. It'll be coming up for pre-order soon, and he's due for release on the 28th of June. So the end of the month, if you fancy it. But it remains to be seen exactly how they're actually going to play out on the tabletop. I imagine he may be both an anvil and a hammer in and of himself. Time will tell.
Double duty.
I'm hoping for some really interesting synergies between human and Titan with him in there, because often with big character models or something like this, then they throw out auras that affect the people around them, and it changes how you build your warbands. And it sounds like he may work best with a big mix of human and Titan. But they've not failed so far with the city-states. Let's face it, they've been going, we're going to do our fancy Greeks and they're going to be amazing because we're Greeks. So I imagine they'll have got this nailed on. And I also imagine that people will be absolutely on top of this for painting potential as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, yes.
Someone's done a cracking job on these gems.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
They do have some exquisite painters doing the work for them. So I like that. I like it a lot. Anyway, check it out if you're interested in the Parabellums. Now, going to move away from EA and check out what the guys over at Corvus Belli are doing for their fantasy world. Ben.
Yeah. So a little bit of a sneaky peek ahead of their pre-orders, which are starting in July this year. Warcrow, a lot of people know it from Warcrow Adventures, which was their campaign that they ran last year, I want to say, which was their board game. And it was their first adventure back into the realms of fantasy for a while, where they were building up fantastic miniatures for their world, where you could, with Lindworm, where you could dive in and play out as a band of adventurers, battling it through dungeons and all sorts of different things like that in a classic sort of fantasy style. Well, that's now evolving this year into a full-on battle game, a miniatures game from the folks at Corvus Belli with Warcrow and their new set, which is going to be called Winds from the North. This will be the first way for you to dive in and build up your Warcrow armies warbands for use in the game. This one comes with the hegemony of Embersig and the Northern Tribes. And is focused on this particular skirmishing clash between both of these forces up in the northern sort of highlands and stuff like that. You've got sort of like a nice mixture of sort of humans and elves on the one side, for the hegemony. And on the other side, you have the absolutely badass looking orcs. I'm fairly sure they're going to be most people's favorites. I think they look gorgeous. Yeah. The trailer has kind of given us a little bit of a... I mean, we kind of knew what was going to be coming in the box anyway, but this kind of gave people a little bit more of a sneak peek at that. Gives you an idea of the models for both sides and what's coming up, alongside the rest of the components for the game as well. So the initial battle box is going to come with both the factions, alongside a bunch of terrain for you to be playing out your games, set around sort of like a ruined farmstead in the north. And then you'll obviously get all the dice, cards, and rules and things that you need to play the game as well. As it's Corvus Belli, obviously the miniatures look amazing. They look gorgeous. And hopefully the game will measure up as well. Interestingly, obviously we're good friends with Corvus Belli. They're going to be over with us in the near future, talking all about this. So this is just a little way for us to whet your appetite, as it were, before we dive proper into Warcrow later in the year, in the next couple of months. Yeah. So
the interesting thing out of all of that for me was the picture of the battle shot, the table set up, and at the bottom it had that disc, and that disc is used in the adventure game for initiative, and depending on, let's say, your initiative 3, so every time you take an action, you move 3 spaces around that until you complete. So somebody with initiative 3 might get, can't remember how many's on the dial, 10. So it might get 3 actions. Somebody with initiative 5 will only get 2 actions in the same time. So it's a good way of setting not just the order of activations, but how many times. So you get the feel if somebody's a big lumbering monster that isn't quite as quick as others, they're going to act later and only get a small amount of actions, where somebody who's very nimble, very fast, like some sort of cheeky racist elf, might activate multiple times or get to activate a couple of times before you get to activate. So you really have to plan tactically what you're going to do. So I like the fact that that disc is sitting at the side of the board. Nerd that I am. That's the most intriguing thing for me.
I think a lot of the mechanics are very similar, if not a crossover from Adventures anyway, because it uses a similar system anyway. So it's a good if you already are going to have Adventures in your collection. Well, there's a nice sort of way for you to sidestep into this.
Yeah.
Pre-orders for it will be 15th of July till the 4th of August. So keep an eye out for more on that front. Yeah.
And if you want to know what we're talking about regarding Adventures, go back and have a look at the Let's Play, because then you can see the mechanics. Because Carlos and we're over for a big long chat about it and the world as well. I did a load of sort of faction and background chat for Adventures, which would all be relevant to this as well. Yeah. So it's a world that they have plans to expand far beyond, and some of the stuff in it is not what you'd expect. It's not just orcs green bad, mankind good. There's a lot more going on and a lot more play within the races and factions as well. A lot of back and forth. So yeah, go and find that. Google is your friend, people. We don't have to do everything for you.
I'll throw a link down below, but yes, there we go.
Spoiler. All right. I think it's time to take a look at some 3D printing. All right. 3D printing. It is very much the coming shiz, as I believe they'd say. Someday all houses will have one right beside the toilet bowl. And we're looking at Engen 3D, which may or may not be how that's pronounced. Engined, I suppose.
Engined, I guess would be the way to say it, yes. So this one popped up. I did see this on Facebook, and then Lloyd was like, "Oh my god!" So I was like,
"Trains!"
I suppose we should probably look at this. So in many ways, this is both a kind of look at what they have, but also a preview of an upcoming Kickstarter campaign as well, which is going to be coming up later on in May. So as you can guess by the screen there, this is a huge array of modular Wartrains for you to drop into your games. So are you playing Warhammer 40,000 or insert other sci-fi game, or Wild West Exodus, for example, and you want to have a massive, badass 28mm?
You too could have a schedule
You two can have a schedule
for your war game. In turn 1, it will be at this stop. In turn 2, it will have stopped here. In turn 3, it has arrived, and in turn 4, it departs again. It'd be amazing.
You can have a replacement bus service as well. Go well. But yes, they are going to be doing a full-on modular Wartrain kit for you to build and use as terrain, as they're showing off here, but you can make it a part of your games. You can build them in a whole variety of different ways. There's lots of room inside them for you to go and put all your troops,
shutters,
as you can see there. Yes.
They go with handles that open them. Oh, amazeballs.
I sense Lloyd may be getting some STL files for John to print at some point.
Say no, John. Say no to drugs.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the nice thing about this is that this creates that, as Lloyd was alluding to, really fun ideas for adaptive tabletops that change and evolve as you play through the game. So
make sure you run at least 2 lines, though, Ben. If you only run 1 line, you're really limiting your options.
Oh, okay. So 2 lines, lots of trains. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Make sure you've got room for both on either side.
Because if you put one down, you'll have to wait for one train to pass before another one can
you've got to have an express track and everything.
Nobody wants to have to build a siding.
Oh, you could just have a siding. Oh.
You could build a siding. It even comes with all the tracks for these as well. So you don't have to worry about making those. They've done that for you. So it's all perfect. Obviously, they come laden with guns because they're war trains. I want someone to do these up in kind of like post-apocalyptic Mad Maxy style, covered in rust. But then on the front of them, you paint the stretched faces of the Thomas the Tank Engine characters.
You've gone absolutely wrong.
And then you can have one of them riding around on one of them called the Fat Controller, just a big bare-chested man with a ruined top hat screaming into the void. I think that'd be amazing. But yes, they are doing all sorts of different bits and pieces here for you to build up loads of interesting war trains. Haha. For your tabletops.
All shiny and cool.
Oh yes. I'm sure people are going to have a lot of fun.
They all look like diesels to me.
Just rubbing. Just rubbing
just
face.
Soot and oil, yeah.
When's the Kickstarter coming? Because I'm really eager to see if anybody's actually going to back this.
I think
because I've had conversations with Warren about trains like this before, and I'm like, who the hell would ever be bothered to be interested in them? I like them, but like from a wargaming perspective, what exactly are you supposed to do with them other than have a schedule?
Well, obviously, terrain. And as we said, if you want to make interesting and diverse scenarios in your tabletops, these are great for you. The other thing that's nice about this is that because it's STL files and it's 3D printing, they're not going to go out there and make a whole bunch of these in plastic and then be like, no one wants to buy our trains apart from this one guy in Northern Ireland.
I mean, you've got very specific objective sort of missions. Exactly. I guess you could put around this. You could you could wing a track through the middle and have it come through every turn and see if it can take pot shots of people on its
train robberies, all sorts of different things you could set up for this. As I say, I think this is perfect for Wild West Exodus because that's kind of all. That's
Malifaux, maybe.
Yeah, Malifaux as well, because they've got that kind of pulpy steampunk, but not quite steampunk, slightly sci-fi element to it as well. So throw these into your games and away you go, really. So
you could incorporate this into that GW Darktide game, which would actually make it look kind of interesting.
Yes, yeah.
Because they show trains in the cinematic for that game. So.
It's just to notify me. I'll have to tick that later.
Yeah, because there's two ways you look at it. Yeah. One is terrain that could potentially move or not, moving through your board, and the other is it is your table. Your scenario is you're on the back of that, and you're attempting to get to the front to stop it for whatever reason, and you're going to have to fight your way through car by car.
The floor is high speed shrapnel. Don't fall off the train.
Do not, because then you've also got the option of going on the roof or through the safer option being inside the cars. But then there's more people to fight.
Talking of 40k games like Darktide, there's that level in Space Marine where Titus fights up the train to the other end.
Yep,
perfect for this kind of thing. Yeah, you're doing it.
Hey, if you're into your bot wars, I wonder if this would be big enough to pretend it's like an Astro train. The most stupid transformer ever made.
I think it's probably too big if it's in 28 mil. Would be my suggestion there.
No, but that was the thing about Astro Train. Astro Train was really stupid because Astro Train could even hold Devastator inside it. the largest. Wait a minute, but you're inside Astro Train. How are you the largest?
Well, they're clearly not the largest because Unicron exists.
I meant the largest Decepticon.
Doesn't matter.
My point is, flipping Astro Train went all TARDIS on us. And everybody could get inside him. And he was tiny.
How did we get back to Bot War?
Don't know, but
it's all space magic. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, space magic, exactly.
I suppose, actually, on that note, because this is 3D printing, these aren't physical models.
Oh.
So, yes, the answer is yes, it would be the correct scale for Bot War.
Yes. Yeah.
You can make it the correct scale.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then smash up your bots and put them in like wagons, just bits and pieces of bots going past.
Being shuttled back to be rebuilt so that they can be downloaded again into their body.
And your bot crew is trying to raid the train to get like replacement legs and arms and stuff.
There you go. You've just created an idea for how to use them on the tabletop.
I like the idea of the trains being the table, you know, and the tabletop you have the trains on is like you cannot set foot on that, otherwise you're gone. You know, make it act like it's a high speed thing. I'd love to see a game out of that where everything is just a blur.
That would be
like this. When you see this image here, like this. Oh,
do you know what you could use?
Look at that. That's your graving table right there. A yard, a train yard.
Even find another trailer. Scarbox do a full 6x4 river mat. It's just a massive greeny brown river that's just flowing in one direction, and that would be your speed blur with your trains going over the top of it.
Very
speed blur.
Yeah, in the same way I take all.
I wonder if we could get a conveyor belt going, and then just have like a mat that's underneath you, just going like this. So it looks literally like a speed blur.
Right. So let's just take this to the natural conclusion. Then we're going to put a 52-inch TV flat down on the ground and just have it with just ground terrain just flying past.
Wait a minute, you could probably
give everyone a seizure while they're playing it.
That's a good idea.
Don't mind that
seizure bit.
Yeah.
No, the TV bit. That's a good idea.
We can bring back Exilus's old idea of using screens for the tabletop and just have blur.
Or
there's one for the kids. Sure.
We could just build a mega big track and actually put a motor in it.
You're going to run after the train.
No, you can put like a remote control kit in.
I'm not.
You're the king of remote control cars. You could definitely retrofit that train after you've printed it and built it and painted it.
I think, Lloyd, we need to have a conversation with that fella on Instagram, Ground Affected, that makes everything fly. So we could just get him to do it.
I don't want it to fly, though, because it'd be too, like, flipping stupid Astro Train if it flew.
Oh, make maglevs. Oh. There you go.
And now Lloyd has been sated with trains.
Do you know what's really annoying about maglevs? Is they make bugger all noise when they travel. The whole point of being on a train is to hear the clatter, 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 clatter. And you know what's really annoying now is they're bloody welding all the tracks together. Have you noticed that if you get on a train, you don't hear anymore, except when you go over the points? It's so annoying. It was the best bit about traveling on a train was now you don't hear it. It's just silence.
It's gone now. Like so much else. Trains. Who knew? Anyway. So yes, if you're interested in big stonking war trains, keep an eye out for Engined.
Yeah.
And that upcoming Kickstarter.
I suspect we'll be talking about it again when it does hit Kickstarter.
I think you will.
You certainly will be.
You'll find we'll give you a mess. When have you got holidays?
I'm going to make sure and book them that they don't fall on the Kickstarter date.
Okay. Anyway, all right. We have a couple of crowdfunders to take a look at before we go. Voice is not going to hold up, is
voice.
I think we're just going to have to go with this, folks, because I think it's on its way out. We're going to be kicking things off with the Masters of the Universe Battleground from Archon Studio.
Quick, get this up while he still has a voice.
Which is, you know what it is? It's leaving the station because of all the train talk. So, Archon came up with Masters of the Universe Battleground a few years ago. It's a skirmish board game based in Eternia, as you would expect. And it initially was licensed only for the EU. So people went, oh, that's great. And then were told, no, you can't have it anywhere else because at the same time, Mattel licensed the worldwide rights, or the rest of the world in America, to the website for rating people's paint jobs.
Simon, yeah.
So they are back now. It's been a few years. They've not just got the Masters Universe Battleground, but they have 7 additional waves have been added as well. And it looks like the licensing agreement has been expanded far beyond the EU. So people can now get their hands on this without having to have a friend in a friendly country. And that's why it's back on GameFound now, to expose people to a whole new world of it. And there's some absolutely stonking stuff in here. Mine, all mine, He-Man.
You boob.
That's it. If you lose your voice, just speak like that, because it worked perfectly.
The only problem is it's terrible. I hate you so much. So the game itself, low model count, maybe 5 models top.
Unless you buy all this shit, then you're in trouble because you've bought way too many models.
At that point, you've just got options, because the game itself it's like a standard skirmish game where you've got list building, but then at the same time, it's also deck construction to be played on the board, which means you can sit there and go, right, well, I'll take five guys with the basic equipment, or He-Man stonks. or you can, go, I'll take 3, but I will up gear everybody, make them really as tough as nails. Because when you're playing, you've got objectives, but you can also get victory points by killing your opponent. And if your opponent happens to be worth quite a lot of points, then they may have given themselves a hiding by putting them in there. As you can see, factions are go-go now, because they've gone from Eternia to pre-Eternia. If you want to have prehistoric dinosaurs kicking around the place, biting people's heads off, you can do that. They've got the serpent people. They've even got He-Man's cousin She-Ra, and the girls kicking about as well. So the expansions have added not just new factions and additional pieces to factions, but also some sort of mercenary things as well. So the battle ram is available for everybody as a piece of heavy artillery / tracked vehicle charging around. And the GameFound campaign has got a ton of ways you can buy into it. So you can pick up, obviously, just the core game, where you can pick up any of the existing waves, but then there's also bits and pieces that are going to be exclusive to the GameFound content. My favorite of which has got to be the Castle Grayskull Dice Tower by a country mile. Because why would you not have that at the side of your board if you can have that at the side of your board? It's like, I will very much have this.
Is that on this page somewhere, is it?
I'll be way at the top, although you might see it again later on.
I think we saw it further up, yeah.
But the quality of the sculpts, I did an unboxing on the stuff this week. If people haven't seen it, the quality of the sculpts is great, because it's all hard plastic, and Archon stuff is absolutely spanking. So you can
it's what they've been using for their dungeons and lasers and all sorts of things, isn't it?
Wolfenstein as well Wolfenstein was the first set of models that they did with it, and they were great. And these are absolutely superb. They've got a really interesting way of model design to hide cuts and hide joins as much as possible. So generally, if you see a transition between, He-Man's furry loincloth and his legs, then that's where the model will tend to be a glue point. So you don't see big seams. Occasionally, yes, there are, but it's got that. They've used the design of the figures to try and mask those joins as much as possible. So if you're not a fan of seeing big mold lines or glue joints and stuff, these are absolutely top notch. And it helps that the IP is obviously one that people have adored for forever and a day. Because everybody loves He-Man. Well, everybody loves Skeletor. He-Man is also in the TV show. I'm just saying. It's true, though.
My favorite is Trapjaw. I love a bit of Trapjaw.
Trapjaw. Yeah.
Yes.
Not so much Merman.
Nobody likes Fishface. It might just be because he's a bubbly git. It'll be interesting to see where they go in time with this as well, because the system is a really solid system. They're not hanging sales of this on the IP and retro fans going, oh, I remember He-Man, he was amazing. Remember the meme? It's an absolutely bang on skirmish game. Really good system on it. But obviously you're bracketed by how much was in the cartoons. Because that's your limit.
At some point, you're going to get to the end of the toys and
So,
but that's good because that means you can actually be a completionist.
Yeah, there is an end
completionist
point.
Yeah. Rather than every fart's end, you're coming on. Oh, what do I have to buy this month to keep up with the crowd?
Flows into the idea of it being a board game rather than it being a
miniatures.
Yeah.
Logging into He-Man community page every week.
But because obviously it's Masters Universe and it distinctly 80s currently. But there was the recent Kevin Smith
remake. Well, not the remake.
Not sequel.
Yeah.
Which it didn't move the setting or anything or revamp it. It just went, here's what's happened now. It's been X number of years, and this is. I
really liked it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, especially how some of those older characters, the likes of Triclops, changed, and their roles and where they were in the game as well. So I think if they are able to license that, because I'm wondering, because it wasn't obviously, I don't know who put it out from Mattel originally, but the TV licensing might be different. But I would absolutely adore.
You could get freaking Mega Skeletor. Oh, Jesus. That would be so good. You thought he had muscles? Wait until you see this.
We're talking about the Netflix show, aren't we?
The Netflix one.
Yes. Yeah. Because, a lot of the characters return and new characters are added and it changes up some of them as well. So maybe people who were a bit of boob, like Merman, he wasn't the greatest in the world in the 80s cartoon, but in that one, he was very much front and center and had gone out by himself and was like, I'm no longer Skeletor's Bizatch. Here I am running my own world. So you better all get on board. Hello, Mordrak. Always good to see you. So yeah, cracking stuff from Archon, and a really good game as well. Even if you don't have the nostalgia vibes, if you're not old enough to have watched Masters of the Universe, it as a skirmish board game, really engaging, really good fun.
And hammering through the unlocks as well.
Yeah.
I would genuinely say, if you were looking for a Masters of the Universe game, this is the one to go for over the CMON one. Like, people have enjoyed CMON one, but I think this is like the one to go for. The boxes
that Jerry was opening in his studio, I was looking and going, oh, the minis are great.
Right, yeah, you were in whenever I was doing that with Shay, weren't you? Yeah. Creeping in behind me, stealing my room.
You've got an unboxing for this, don't you?
Yeah,
unboxing, let's play.
And the Wave 6 stuff as well. So the waves aren't always big. Sometimes it might just be a couple of characters or new terrain piece, like the Mud Monster is in with Scorpio and Leech.
The other thing is,
it's just a bit of interactive terrain.
If you get into it now, you have that thing where you're not waiting years and years and years for something to expand. The range is already there.
The range is there. Yeah. This is
Europeans have been enjoying it for many years.
just opening it up for new borders and boundaries.
Yeah.
So worth having a look at. There are 12 days left, he said in a high questioning voice, until the end of that campaign.
Yeah, 12 days.
Yeah, and it's already funded in droves.
Funded at the wazoo.
Ben,
yes.
Tell me about Fantasy Dwarfs, Ben.
So, we have talked about Jamie Tranter's work in the past. We talked about all the stuff he's done for Poland and Warsaw and all that kind of thing. And he'd done that amazing World War II range that everyone's very familiar with. Also, quite a fan of fantasy stuff and that kind of old hammer vibe. And so Jamie Tranter is back from Infamous JT alongside Sergio Alonso Leon, who has done all the sculpting for this, to create a range of amazing, if I say so myself, 28mm fantasy dwarfs, spelt wrong, but we'll get into the reason why.
Yeah, you say old hammer vibe, but these are way better looking.
Oh yeah, the idea is that this has been created to be a nostalgia of the period, but done with modern sculpting ideas and techniques and stuff like that. So you'll find a lot of dwarves in this campaign that are very reminiscent of classic ones. So you've got your Norse dwarves, You got your feudal dwarves with your big knightly helmets on and stuff like that. You've got your treasure hunters. If you're thinking kind of classic wartime, for example, those couple of sets there, I mean, all of those, just above the North ones, they're all very much like, here's our take on the wartime warband that you might remember that have come back, which I think is really nice. So yes, Sergio has done 41 new miniatures. So there's 39 dwarves, a dog and a pony, and I'm fairly sure a few more bits and pieces might sneak their way in.
Dog and pony show.
Yes.
This is all traditionally sculpted as well.
That's all traditionally sculpted, all white metal. So it's as pure as the snow, as the morning snow. Yes, the driven snow. Yes. But as I say, a couple of different options for you to dive into with this one. There's like a warband builder where you can just kind of like pick and choose what you want. There's the Norse Treasure Hunter warband. So if you just want that, you can go specifically for the Norse ones, or you can dive in and pick up the Dwarvish Host, which is everything that's available as part of this campaign.
Yeah.
No stretch goals.
No stretch goals.
No.
This has taken a while because of reasons. There were originally going to be some stretch goals, and I was like, no, this is taking too long. Here's the plan.
Let's just do it.
We do the 41 miniatures. We know how to do it. We know what we need to complete, which at this point is some of the molds need to be mastered, and then some need to have production molds done. Others have already had all the masters and production molds made, so it's just a case of once they have numbers for fulfillment, they can just start casting stuff and go.
All made in Birmingham as well.
All made in Brum, where Jamie's from as well.
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, balls
Do they
deep
have
in
a
this.
Facebook page? Because I tried to click their link, but I just get like nothing happens.
Infamous JT.
Infamous JT is his Facebook.
Oh, here we go. It's working now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can find these pictures.
The work on this is gorgeous, and I think a lot of people are going to be diving in and snapping these up. These would be perfect for a game that we talked about towards the tail end of last year from Grimskald, which is their
the dungeon delving one,
the dungeon delving dwarven game, whose name slightly escapes me. But yes, if you're interested in picking up a warband of badass dwarves, this is very much one for you to dive into and explore, I think.
Hey!
There's the Warsaw
Pulse.
stuff that we saw. Yeah.
I'll also say there are, if you haven't noticed, there are two themes running through the dwarves. So there's a Norse dwarf theme and then a more feudal dwarf theme. Feudal is obviously the best, and I'm not just saying that because there's a homage to me in there. Which, if you haven't spotted it, one of the knights has got as their crest on top of their helm a squirrel.
Yay!
Which is specifically for me. And Jimmy, thank you.
Here?
He'll be in there somewhere.
That's the Norse and the Treasure Hunters.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, it's one of the feudal knights. Because even things like the king has got a crown with a lion with a crown on it as it sort of goes through levels of it. The painting here, by the way, if people are interested, is a guy called Interstellar Simeon. Interstellar Simeon works, and he's on the face page and Instagrammage.
There's a
if you want to
squirrel.
see more of his work.
Down the bottom.
Right at the bottom.
The greens.
Carrying the actual green. No, that's the hedgehog.
You
completely
didn't
different
go down
animal.
to the bottom, Lloyd.
No, I didn't. Now you know how I feel whenever anytime I ask you questions, you would jump around. Armed with a lovely big halberd as well.
It doesn't work.
Two people.
Oh, there
you
works
are just
now.
the absolute worst. Look at that. I mean, I'd pledge for just him by himself because you can get individuals. But I find it easier just to go give me everything, Jamie, or I will hurt you. Day one, third backer, blam, 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 blam.
Gorgeous stuff.
Gimme. Yeah.
I think
I have no idea why I'm buying these. Like so many things in life. I don't know why.
How could you not?
To play Torch and Shield from Grimskald, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Got a whole set of nice looking greens coming up here. Where do you see these?
Yeah.
Sergio's done a gorgeous job.
It's amazing. And weirdly, if you ever have a look at Sergio's, his own, I think it's Instagram, he spends a lot of time resculpting He-Man and the Masters of the Universe toys. He buys the big toys and then cuts off all the crap, and then green stuff's on really high detailed versions of them, and it looks amazing. So there's a little bonus between them.
Mm-hmm.
Like goat rampant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As a range, this is terrific. I hope they do get a chance to revisit in the future as well, because like I said, I think we need more plans to go up to 60 anyway, but the idea is just get the first group out. But yeah, coming back to this down the line, it should be a lot of fun. Look at them, absolute nutters. You could use this for something like Saga,
for example.
Yeah,
very much could. Yeah,
and probably will. There's a good boy. Right. So the dwarves then, they're well funded, and there's quite a lot of time left on them. Yeah. Because I think Jimmy was working on the principle, does anybody know me? If I do a short one, will people find this before it's over? So no, gives everybody a chance to find it. And
I think he underestimated the old Hammer community. I
think he underestimated me going and kicking everybody. But here's my one in life. Right, that wraps us up for another week. Don't forget, if you want a chance to win that Flames of War box set, comment here on the YouTubes. And if you're here on Tabletop, then you need to go over to the YouTubes. However, if you are on Tabletop, stick around till Sunday. Find out whether or not my throat has healed up, or if I'm completely voiceless. Because
the whole show is Skeletor.
Banglers.
Right, we'll be back there Sunday morning for more witty banter and a bit of chat about your hobby and our own. Otherwise, we will see you again next Friday. Until then, have a great week of gaming. Bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.